Alrighty, well, to get started on this meaty veggie pasta dish we're doing here, I've got the vegetables I'm going to be using for it. We're looking at a red bell pepper here, obviously, an onion, nice little carrot, 2 shallots, some garlic cloves, as well as we've got 2 Anaheim peppers, which are absolutely puny compared to what an Anaheim pepper normally should be, but I grew these myself in a little tiny arrow garden, so that's about as big as they're going to get. As well as 2 little tiny jalapeños that I also grew in an arrow garden just for some spice. I realize this is not really traditional to any sort of Italian pasta recipe you're looking for, but if that's what you're looking for, then this is not the recipe for you. This is my veggie, meaty, delicious pasta. You'll like it, I promise. So I'm going to go ahead and get these chopped up, and once these are all chopped up and I'm ready to actually start cooking this thing, I'll be back. Alrighty, well, we got everything chopped up, and now we're looking at all the ingredients that are going to go into this delicious veggie meat pasta sauce. So here we got, obviously, there's a nice big red ball of beef there, leftover frozen beef. Thawed that out. We got that as the meat, and we got all the chopped veg here that we went over earlier. Obviously got our salt and pepper, a few dry ingredients, garlic powder, oregano, bay leaves, and then we got sort of our wet ingredients here. We're looking at olive oil, obviously just going to use a little tiny bit of that. Tomato paste. This I highly recommend, better than bouillon. This is the mushroom broth mix, bouillon mix. We got some balsamic vinegar, we got some Worcestershire sauce, we got some soy sauce, we got honey, just going to use a little dab of that as well as my can here of San Marzano tomatoes. Maybe could even use 2 cans, but I only got 1, so that's what we're using. Also, I realize soy sauce and Worcestershire is kind of overkill, but I want them both. They're good. So yeah, if you don't like it, do a different recipe, but I recommend soy sauce in pretty much everything, and the Worcestershire sauce adds a good flavor, so we're using them both. Alrighty, well, I think we're going to go ahead and brown this meat first, and then we'll get into actually making the rest of this sauce. Here we go. Alright, so we got the beef browning here, and what I've done is I sort of smashed it into a giant burger patty almost, so we can get more browning on it. I'm going to be flipping that once the side is done, and then just crush it all up into like crumbled beef, ground beef as you normally would. I feel like the patty technique gets a little bit more browning on it. I don't know, I've been doing it, and it's kind of been working, so I'm sticking with it, but you know, you can just crush it up, crumble it up as usual if you wanted to. Yeah, salt and pepper both sides. Although I do try and hold back mostly on the salt. Like, that's probably going to be most of the salt I put in, because the bouillon has a decent amount of salt. Soy sauce is going in. Worcestershire sauce is going in. And I find if I don't be careful with salt, sometimes it's going to get too salty. So, not much more actual Morton salt going into this besides what's on this beef here. But yeah, just browning this up. Alright, well, there was about almost exactly the right amount of oil in there, so I didn't actually remove any of it. And now we're just going to get the veggies going. So here we go. Here's the onions and shallots going in. I'm going to get those cooked first, wet them up a little bit. Alright, and after these are cooked for a little bit, I'll be tossing in the garlic. And then the carrots. And then the peppers. Here's the cooked beef, ready to go back in. Here's a pro tip: use your the lid of your Tupperware, of your small Tupperware, the one that's holding this garlic here, as a spoon rest. If you don't have one, easy spoon rest. I use lids of Tupperware for all kinds of stuff, cutting fruits. I mean, I know it's maybe not great to get little knife marks on your Tupperware, but don't have the fanciest Tupperware, who cares? But yeah, I find Tupperware, I use them for treat plates for my kitties. They're versatile items. Alright, I'll be back when I toss the garlic in. Alright, we're going in with the garlic. I like to use the Sam the Cooking Guy method. Make a little hole there in the middle. Kind of cook some of the raw flavor out of it in the middle there. Just a little bit, and then swirl it all back around with the rest of it, just to make sure that all the garlic gets a little bit of heat, direct heat before it gets mixed in with the rest. And then so also you'll see there's a little bit of garlic left in here. I'll use this, get the rest of this by pouring some water in it once I put the liquids in, and then just, you know, I usually want to add a little bit of extra water to the sauce, so you know, that way, number one, don't have to use another cup for water to put some water in. Number two, get the last little bitties of garlic out of there as well. Especially because I'm using that better than bouillon, it's nice to have a little bit extra water in there. All right, we're mixing these in. That was enough. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the carrots in now as well. In they go. Alrighty, now we're doing the peppers. And we got, again, the Anaheims, 1 red bell pepper, and a jalapeno, or 2 small jalapenos. Nice and colorful. Yeah, I mean, at this point you could do almost anything with this, you know. Tomato sauce is one way to go. You can make some chili. I thought about making chili with this. I don't have any canned beans right now. I'm ill prepared for the apocalypse. You could do lentils, would be nice in here. Some kind of soup. I mean, this is honestly this is you know, rice pilaf. Okay, so I lied. Actually, the first thing we're going to do is add a little bit of tomato paste here. Just so the back can get cooked a little bit too on the dry heat before we add the liquid in. And yeah, I mean, I think that's probably all I'm going to use, but if I feel like when I'm tasting it later it needs a little bit more tomatoey flavor, I will add more. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add the meat back. Alright, it's time to go liquid, and can I tell you, this is looking and smelling very good at this point. So first we're going to do soy sauce. I don't know how much soy sauce, maybe a couple tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, I don't know. You probably could eyeball it. Balsamic vinegar, not as much there, maybe that much. And then Worcestershire, again, maybe that much Worcestershire. So maybe a tablespoon or 2, maybe, I don't know. I like to let this cook a little bit. Just these 3. In my head, this like cooks the vinegar a little bit, makes it, softens the acidity of it a little bit. That could be completely made up. Yeah, this would be good to eat already. I mean, this is almost like a sloppy Joe at this point. Add some paprika, maybe. Add some cumin. Some other stuff. You got yourself a sloppy Joe. Alrighty, I think it's time for the San Marzano tomatoes to go in. Here we go. Smash them up. There is a basil leaf in this can, usually, I think. I don't necessarily love that because, like, if you're making chili, maybe you don't want it, but it's not a big deal. And in this case, we're making pasta, so might as well. Alrighty, we got our last couple ingredients ready to go here. One is this Better Than Bouillon, the mushroom bouillon paste. So that's going in. I'm not using this spoon for anything else, so might as well just dip it in. Being careful not to scuff up the bottom of this pot, the non-stick bottom. Alrighty, that's all good. And then just for sweetness, I'm putting in a tiny little bit of this honey, although this honey, whatever these Pooh Bear things are called, is not the ideal way to do this, but there we go, I got it. And then, I don't know, putting in not very much honey, less than a tablespoon probably. All right. So I got those two in. And I mean, that's really it. I'm gonna add in a couple of dry ingredients here, but other than that, we are done. But so yeah, going in dry, we got a little tiny half a bay leaf there. Just drop that in. We got some oregano, not a ton of it, maybe, I don't know, not a lot of oregano. Way less than a teaspoon. And then garlic powder. Ooh. Garlic powder. Decent amount of that. That's, I don't really need that much that many dry ingredients. It's a flavorful sauce. And this is it. I'm gonna bring it up to a boil again. Then simmer it down for however long you want. I mean, you can eat it now. I think maybe the carrots will be a little bit crunchy right now, but definitely good. Oh yeah, I might add a little bit of water. Like I mentioned, I'm probably gonna add a little that to grab the garlic, and then probably rinse out the inside of that just to get that last bit of tomato juice in there. But yeah, other than that, this is good to go. I'll make some pasta, serve it with some cheese, some fresh basil, and we'll have a nice tomato sauce dinner. All right, and here we have the final product of the Meaty Veggie pasta sauce. This is just on a bed of penne whole grain wheat penne pasta. Yeah, and otherwise just the sauce on top. I'm gonna add a little bit of this low moisture, part skim mozzarella cheese. Spill a little bit on the counter over there, of course, while I do it. So yeah, just a little bit of this on top, it'll melt. And then as well, some nice fresh basil from my hydroponic herb growing machine that I have. So you could tear this basil if you want. I like the full leaf. You know, not only do I like eating it as the full leaf, but I think the aesthetic beauty of a full leaf of basil really is unrivaled. So yeah, here you go. We got the finished pasta here. That cheese will be melting a little bit. Looks a little unmelty and white as it is. But yeah, I had a little bit of the sauce before. I can confirm it's delicious. And I'm about to go eat this and enjoy it. Thanks for watching.